a lot of ethical issues facing us today in 21st century, you'll see America, but the world. But I don't think there's one more important than that of abortion. Because if it's the case that the fetus or the baby is a person, then we are literally allowing and advocating for the murdering of tens of thousands and tens of millions of people around the world throughout time. Now, the most often used argument for the right to choice or the right to have an abortion is the right to privacy. And that argument goes like this: simply put, my body, my choice. Now, I'm going to argue that argument fails, if that even can be an argument. I don't think it's an argument. I think it's more of an assertion than my body, my choice. And it fails for a few reasons. Number one, the person being aborted isn't the mother. So when you say it's my body, my choice, I don't think that can work very well, because the person being aborted is a different being altogether than the mother. The fetus or baby has its own blood type, its own organs, its own DNA. It has its own body. And so the my body, my choice doesn't really work successfully, because the person being aborted isn't the mother. So when you say my body, you're not referring to the baby. Now you might say, well, Brian, the mother is having to undergo all these different changes in her body. She's sick. She's having all these changes. She doesn't want to have these changes. So why not have an abortion? Well, that'd be a different argument than my body, my choice, in the sense of saying that I can do whatever I want with my body. Because even if you could do whatever you want with your body as a pregnant woman, we're talking about a separate body, a separate being altogether than simply the mother's body, which raises a second issue, and that is if the fetus or baby is a human person, and if all persons have rights, then that being or person has rights too. So we could ask the question, well, are babies persons? This is the main debate, because the overwhelming majority of doctors in the relevant field here believe that what we have at the moment of conception is a living being. Most of the debate really is not about the scientific issue of whether or not we have a living biological organism. That's pretty much beyond dispute. The question is it a human person? And I'm going to argue that it is, and many people argue that as well. Of course, many argue that it's not. But at the moment of conception, you've got a new being that has 46 chromosomes, the same number as any normal adult, and has human DNA at the moment of conception. So it's arguably the case that at the moment of conception, the new being, the zygote, is a human being. Now, people will want to argue that because it's developing, it's not a human being yet. But this confuses something developing into a human being and a developing human being. So if we have a being that is reproduced by two members of a species that reproduce sexually, then it just stands to reason that the new member brought about by the two other members of that species is of that same species. It has species membership, as some people will say. And also, given the fact that at the moment of conception, we have a being with human DNA and 46 chromosomes that will quickly develop and having its own heartbeat, its own brain and organs, all that, is arguably the case that we are talking about a human being, not just simply a cluster of cells. And then also, you simply cannot do whatever you want in the name of privacy. So, for example, prostitution is illegal in most places in the United States. But it's an issue that's done in private most of the time, I guess. And it is done with a person's body. But the my body, my choice doesn't work in that instance because the act is illegal. So the question really isn't, is it the case that we can just have all these rights in the name of privacy, but rather, what is it that we're talking about when we refer to my body, my choice? I think it's clear that when we're referring to my body, my choice, the my body does not refer to the other body that is in the womb. That body has rights because it's a person, and we can't do whatever we want simply in the name of privacy. I do want to say one thing in this discussion. This is very important. There are a lot of people out there who have had abortion, which is why this is such an important topic. Yes, we need to speak out against it. Yes, we need to educate people about the reality of fetal development, human reproduction, the scientific and philosophical reasons why abortion is wrong. But we also need to communicate forgiveness, that there is forgiveness for people who have had abortions. There are many people who have had abortions who have psychological problems, emotional problems, physical problems because of their abortions. They suffer extreme guilt. They feel bad about what they've done. And so it's important to note that there is forgiveness through Christ, even with the issue of abortion. So we need to come out against it. We need to speak out against it. We need to educate it. We need to educate people about it. But we also need to emphasize the forgiveness of Christ and the hope of the gospel and the wonderful message of the gospel. So I hope this message was interesting and informative to you. Please like and subscribe and share a comment. Thanks for watching.